So we went back to work this past week. We worked a whole entire week after New Year's. It's back Friday afternoon, and man, does it feel weird. I took off from the 20th of December till the 2nd of January, and I worked every single day of that break besides half day, or I worked the morning of Christmas Eve, and then I did not work Christmas. So I had a day and a half off from this car. And after you work from the 20th, that's 12 days straight, practically, one day off. After you put all of them days in, every day on your project, you wake up, do breakfast, and you work on your project, it begins to feel like a job, and it feels amazing to just build cars every single day and make progress. But after working for 4.5 days back on, we did work Thursday and Friday before or after New Year's, but that was so small. But after working 4.5 days back on, it feels very weird to get back out here. It just, you get in these routines. That's what I preach all the time, is people say they can't find a motivation. If you'll just get into the routine of doing something over and over and over, it will eventually become all you know, and it will be a walk in the park to do it. So I don't remember exactly where we left off. The videos are so far behind. I'm actually releasing videos and forget where they're even at and have to go back and watch my own videos because y'all are like 2 weeks behind, as I've been saying. I want to give a huge thank you to Mr. Tim again. As you noticed in the past, one of our viewers donated us most of these clamps down here, and he sent us another package with more clamps. So, Mr. Tim, I need no more clamps. I am good, I think, for the rest of my life on the clamps. But you never can have too many, because when you have multiple things clamped up, like even our rear end is held in right now with a clamp right there that's tied up. So if you're getting started on a project, collect as many clamps and magnets as you can, because I promise you can't have enough clamps, you can't have enough magnets, because you'll find that you'll have stuff scattered everywhere, and then you'll start taking clamps off of previous clamped items, and you might lose your spot. So it's nice just to have a bunch of them. If you look in the background of other fabricators' shops, you'll notice that they have a ton of freaking clamps. But we're good to go on that. So Mr. Tim, thank you. I know I've personally thanked him through email, but I just want to publicly thank him again. I really, really appreciate this. We also did upgrade to the iPhone 16, so I'm hoping that the camera quality is a little better for y'all. I'm trying to do my best to try to provide y'all the best footage possible, even if that means buying another expensive phone. We were out of memory, and I wanted to upgrade the cameras to just try to make a better experience. I still 100% believe that doing YouTube, your phone is the best way to do it, not purchasing an actual dedicated camera, especially for the car world. But we'll see where this goes. So that is our panels, all right? Now, they are different left to right because the way that they kill in is different left to right. All right, so you can see how that side over there to the left has to step back, whereas this is going to go up into a corner. All right, and we will come in here with a 90, and what it will do is it will kill this out at a 90 like this, and then we'll put a little triangle in that side. So this trans tunnel is not symmetrical because of how it steps over, but it looks good. I like that. I like how the B-roll goes down both sides and flows into it, which is really nice. All right, so now what we have to decide is, remember, we have a sensor on the back of the transmission that we need to get to, and then we have 2 sensors up here. All right, so 1, 2, 3. So that one right back there, oops, gotta get used to this new phone. Can we get it without cutting an access into here? Let's see. So this is where we come right here. And yes, as long as we basically stay below there, I can get a socket on that guy. We need to make a mark right here where my wrist is hitting. If I had the phone down right now, I would do it, but it's basically gonna be right there. Where'd my marker go? All right, let's memorize this since we're doing it. All right, so like right there. See here, like right there. That's basically where our curve needs to be at. Really, actually, let's make a mark up here. Let's do it up here, because that's a lot more comfortable. And then, so that would be the start of our curve. And then the top of our curve can pretty much be like up here. All right, and all I'm doing is I'm literally grabbing the bolt just like I would be turning it, because we can get in there and crack it open, but then to spin it. So that means that we can have a flange across the top about that high. All right, and our curve will come in here. It'll come basically like that. It'll curve around my hand. And with the flange that tall, as you can see, we can also go up and get these. We'll be able to break these loose and then go up and get these here. So this is gonna be our dipstick. All right, we need to put the camera down real fast so I'm not rambling to y'all, and decide what do we do about this dipstick. So this is looks like you don't check it on these. This is a small, looks like a cap style. I need to look it up if they make a dipstick for an Allison, because if so, we can run it, if it's a flex one, we could probably run it up straight through here, and it looks like we would have enough room to be able to check it. Or we can even go up through here, straight up through, and then under the dash. I mean, decide what I want to do with that, but we do know now that our pocket is going to go across the top right here. All right, so a Allison flexible dipstick like this is $250 to $350, depending on if you want it polished or black. This is a Turbo 400 universal dipstick. This is what they had in it. I think this is just what the junkyard put in there to seal it up. Along with that, that would be what would take the metal factory tube. So they make ones for $50. That's like a little T-handle, but we'd have to have a access, to get inside the car to check the fluid level. The Turbo 400 one, as you can see, I'm having to wiggle to pull it out, does fit in there. It has O-rings on it. Feels like O-rings definitely need to be bigger, or we'd have to use a gasket maker to seal it in there. But the Turbo 400 one does technically fit inside the hole. Now it looks like the dipstick, the end of the dipstick would just barely hit the pan level. So I messaged a buddy of mine, shout out to Chris if he watches these videos, for answering my stupid questions. He said basically the fluid should be to the top of the pan ledge right there. So technically, if this tip hangs down below the casting, then that means that the tip of the dipstick would have fluid on it and you'd be good. So technically you could use this, and as long as the tip had fluid on it, you'd technically be good. Let's see here. It's about 3 inches. And sure enough, it would literally hang right below, right there. It would literally hang right below that pan. So we could use the Turbo 400 one. I'm not paying $250 to $300 for a flexible one, and I think that the factory thick one, my guess would be, I wonder if it goes through that hole right there. There's a hole in there. I don't have a factory one. That'd be pretty cool, but I guarantee you it still would not work in our application because this thing's got to bend a lot. So I'm thinking use this dipstick and we should be good. If anything, we literally can shorten this dipstick. Should be able to take this apart, cut the line, shorten the tube, and that would lengthen the dipstick. You don't have to buy a dipstick that's made exactly for your transmission. You can get like a universal one like this, but what you're going to have to do if you're going to use a universal one, I can go and tell you from past experience, is when you have this thing out and apart, you do need to put the dipstick in it, take the pan off, and make sure that the bottom down there, the tip, is hanging past the, hanging into the pan. And make sure that you mark on your dipstick where the top of the pan is for whenever you're checking. You don't just stab a dipstick down in the transmission and not even know where it's technically supposed to be, because a lot of these universal ones, even though they say they fit for stuff, they're actually really terrible. We took this one off the Comet because we kept blowing it out every pass. Like it would blow out of the transmission, I guess from pressures in the transmission. And as you can see, it doesn't even stay in there at all. It needs a bigger, thicker O-ring. Yeah, look at the play in that. That's crazy. This is a cheap Chinese one, which we can put a bigger O-ring on it. Let me see if I can snake this one down, and I honestly think that this is what we should do. Since I already have it, it'll be a good way to use it up. Like I said, we can shorten the line. If we come in here, it would route beautifully up and around that sensor just like that, and it would clear inside here too. So I think it's going to be the Turbo 400 for the win on that, and I do think we will take a little bit out of the length. If we take a little bit out of the length, then we'll move it down from here to, we could probably move it down to about here and be totally fine. So I think that's going to be what we will do. Definitely got to know these details. All right, so that did not go perfect on the first hit. Don't feel frustrated if you don't get it right the first time, because I didn't get it right the first time. So with quite a bit of cutting and getting rid of my lip, so I had a brake folded on here that broke basically like this. So we took the metal and broke it like that. That way I was hoping I could spot weld it to the floor. That didn't work. It's hard sometimes when you have all these angles in a piece to get it 100% for me, at least. Maybe I need to switch to the ram board so there's not so much flex in it. But this doesn't hold me back. Like what I use is perfectly fine. and it gets the job done. But I definitely had to make some adjustments. So we no longer have a flange on here. Well, we do have plenty of room. Oops, still getting used to the zoom. Plenty of room, as you can see, up inside there. Okay. So you can see where the transmission ribs are at versus the edge. All right, so the ribs are over here, and our new plate is way over here. So we have plenty of bulge out to be able to bring the transmission back, which is what we wanted. The other side, we had tons of room to be able to bring the transmission back. We built that into it, and then, you know, we did these to clear the back of the transmission and slip back. So we have plenty of room now. We will have to cut the floor to clear these on both sides, and then we're gonna have to cut the floor here. So I went ahead and marked it. It takes up a little bit more pedal room, but there's no reason to wig out. And the pedals were still pretty much right there in our B-roll. Our hill is definitely right there in our B-roll. So the gas pedal should still be fine. You should still scoot over. Actually, we have, as you can see, plenty of room. So if you put your other foot there, all right, so we can't even, I mean, it's awkward to touch my other foot. So a good pivot point again, when we fit up the car earlier, was hill on the B-roll. That gives us gas, gives us brake, gas, brake. So we still have plenty of room. We can get all the sensors, and we can get this right here if we need to put the dipstick in after the install. So we can get up here to our sensor up top, P-clamp to clamp that in. We can get our sensor up here, and then, you know, we can get our sensor up here. I did not build this in 2 pieces. I was going to build it in 2 pieces, but I'm running low on sheet metal. I've got one big 4x4 piece, and I did not want to chop a 4x4 piece up just to build this little piece right here. So I figure now what we'll do is we will step this, and we will build this back section, and then we'll weld it all together. And again, once it's all finished out with lizard skin, you won't see it. I'm gonna try to attempt, when I cut the floor, to cut the floor and then still break the 3/4. That way it can be spot welded from the bottom of the car to the inside to join that together. If not, we can put us our 3/4 brakes. If you've been following along, we have them little strips that we broke 3/4 by 3/4 90s. We can literally just put them right in there and fill it in and be perfectly fine. So sometimes you have to just cut stuff like that. It's just, it is what it is. But as these floor pans come out, we have everything marked where we know what to do. And we can even put on here plus 3/4 that way. That way we remember that that needs a flange so we don't forget. All right, so we actually busted out the English wheel over there. All right, we actually got it out and did a little English wheel, and I didn't record it because I don't know what I'm doing. And I just kind of winged it. So I did 3 breaks on this panel right here. I did a break across here, which because we have a break up there. I broke it like this because we have a break right here, and then I broke it like this to relieve this. I did 3 breaks, but of course it was wanting to bunch all that up, so then I kind of English wheeled through the center like this and then around the edge. So you can probably see the marks. We'll figure the English wheel out later. We definitely are going to need to learn it for these fenders. You can see all the marks on the back side of it. When we go to do these fender patches, we're 100% going to have to do the English wheel. So you just stay tuned, make sure your notifications are on, because we are going to learn how to do the English wheel together, because I've never used one. I have no clue. And yes, I know there's videos out there, but I'm so lazy. I don't want to watch the videos. I just want to work. That's going to be that. So I don't think I'm going to add anything to any of these at all. Honestly, I might double this up on the back side with another 90 just to thicken that piece up. But this, I think I'm just going to stitch weld around, or I might chop this off when it comes time. Not 100% sure how I want to do that. If I could redo it, I would have loved to go all the way down to the bottom, but I was just using a little scrap piece. And again, remember, seam sealer, seam sealer, seam sealer, seam sealer, lizard skin, lizard skin, lizard skin. All right, do you got that? Do you understand what's going over all this? So at the end, you're not even going to see this, man. By the time we wipe all that out with seam sealer, lizard skin, it's going to be so thick. It's like, lizard skin's kind of like the bed liner in your truck, but it's a sound deadening and heat reflecting like material that sprays in like a truck bed liner. We're going to do the whole bottom side and probably the interior to make this thing just a really nice car probably. And it should cover all that up. But that panel will get bolted on with little tiny stainless bolts and go over it just like that. Let's see here. And pull up. So once, we don't have to have it fitting perfect, which I mean, it does fit pretty freaking good. But we don't have to have a perfect fit because the little tiny bolts are gonna suck it up tight. What you doing, JoJo? Did you go get your hair cut today? I like your curls. Me too. So cute. But that's a good progress for Friday night. You got what?
A wasp.
A wasp?
No, a wasp.
Oh. Oh, wash. Your hair got washed. Girl stuff. Girl stuff. Yeah, I see you got your screwdriver. That's good progress for Friday night, though. I'm happy with that. I mean, dude, we got little stuff to do. These pieces, the back things, which we got to get the axle out. Maybe tomorrow, Saturday, maybe in the morning, we'll start trying to get the axle out, fit the rear fender back on, put the wheels back in here, and start messing with this metal until Uncle Mike shows up at some point this weekend to do the front control arms.